Stories and narrative have a deep place in our life. They go all the way back to the caveman times where we all were around a campfire and we told stories. And cave paintings were literally the stories, the narratives that existed. Today's story on this episode is the frog and scorpion identity story. Probably one of the most valuable stories that I've ever heard in my life. And I'm Mario Leone. Welcome to the Voices of Victory channel. Feel free to click the link below in the Podbean description in order to go to Patreon so we could actually grow together. So this is an old story about the frog and the scorpion. The scorpion asked the frog to carry him across the river. Halfway through, the scorpion stings the frog. And as they both start sinking and drowning, the frog asks, "Why would you do that? I can't believe you would do such a thing. Why would you do that? We're both going to die now." And the scorpion replies, "I can't help it. It's in my nature. It's in my nature to be a scorpion, and that's what scorpions do." So this is not a story about animals. Let's just eliminate that right away. But it is indeed about identity and patterns that people actually repeat, and they repeat it without even thinking about it. So most people think their identity is just what they believe about themselves. I'm here to tell you it's far more than that. But identity is closer to a pattern of behavior that repeats under pressure. So when things get uncomfortable, they get hard in your life, they get stressful or even uncertain or unsafe, your brain, your nervous system will run what it already knows, just like the scorpion. Whatever the scorpion did was consistent with who the scorpion was. Not because someone is choosing it at the moment, but because it's what has been practiced in the nervous system long enough to feel like an automatic idea. So when we look at it, when we look at the scorpion behavior in real life, we're going to make it real. I'm going to make this as solid and crystal clear so you can understand it. Someone wants a connection. They want relationships to feel easy. But in real situations, something actually very different happens. It goes down. They overthink what to say. They monitor what they're saying and thinking. They're monitoring how they're being perceived. They adjust themselves. They change their personality depending on who they're with. So they take the conversations from the past, they replay it in their head, and they look for signs and ideas of what they did wrong, if they did something wrong. And they might seek approval and reassurance through text messaging or even just social cues and body language. So on the surface, it looks like they're trying to make a connection. It does, but underneath, it's total protection. So the message is absolutely simple. If I manage how I appear, I stay safe socially. Even when the intention to get close to someone is actually there, but the behavior creates distance between you and them. And just like the scorpion, you keep doing what you know how to do under actual pressure. And it repeats over and over again as a pattern because it's familiar. Not because you decided it, not because you chose it, not because that was the way to go, because it's familiar. You're running the old pattern. So we have to be able to replace old patterns with new ones. So social media feeds this pattern in a bad way. If we add social media into the mix, social media is training your mind constantly. And it's training constant identity checking. Every post becomes, how am I being seen? How am I being understood? How do they perceive me? Did I land right? And what do people actually think of me? Even when nobody's actively judging you, your mind will start to move in that direction. It'll behave like that. So people start changing themselves. They put up a post, delete it, put up another one, delete that, put up another one, delete that. And they'll just keep changing it before they post it. And they start to ask their friends, what do you think about it? And then they'll get more criticism and feedback and then go back and edit the video again. They'll delete posts right after deleting them. They'll compare themselves while actually scrolling. They'll look at other people and how they do their deal. They adjust themselves constantly, their personality, all based on reaction. So there's chasing, a lot of chasing. It's looking for approval through the likes, through the views, through the comments. And if it's not getting any pull, you You might second guess yourself. Colonel Sanders himself had a chicken recipe. He had to have confidence in that recipe. And if he didn't, he would have went back and changed the recipe 100 times over. But he didn't do that. He had confidence in it, and he kept trying to pitch it, and eventually it became Kentucky Fried Chicken. The rest is history, and he got a percentage on each piece of chicken sold. So he had faith, and he believed in his recipe. And you have to. And you have to be able to believe in yourself, because your nervous system will start looking at that. It'll start treating the visibility and how you're perceived and seen like it's some kind of evaluation that people are evaluating. So the scorpion behavior gets stronger. You start to totally check yourself out in the sense of you're monitoring what you're doing constantly. More control, more adjustment, more pivoting, more change. It's not because you're emotionally weak. It has nothing to do with the weakness of emotion. But you are running a pattern, and that repetition is training your nervous system. That's what I want you to understand. When we look at perfection, it also happens. And if you haven't checked out my book, The Beautiful Flaw, check it out on Amazon. The perfection is a big cycle. That's what happens. Someone wants to do good work. They don't understand the difference between maladaptive perfectionism and adaptive. They want things to be very solid, but the pattern starts to appear differently. They delay starting anything until they feel it feels right. I'll be ready when. They over-prepare. They prepare too much before actually doing anything. So it's like, let me prepare all these notes, but not take any action. So they keep refining instead of finishing and changing. They struggle to share work publicly because of the way they're being perceived. They check, recheck, recheck for mistakes. And they tie their worth to the output, not being able to separate the output from who they actually are, not able to separate the results from the actual identity. On the surface, it might look like high standards, but it's really not. It's insecurity in its place. That's the real deal. Because you're trying to avoid criticism, failure, or being seen as if you're not enough. So control becomes a part of you. And that scorpion keeps doing what it actually knows to do, which is to remain consistent with the identity. So over-controlling everything in order to stay safe, even when it slows everything down. So social media reinforces perfectionism in the worst way. It strengthens this pattern behind the scenes, totally. People are comparing instantly. They're judged visually. They're ranked socially. They only listen to certain people for certain reasons. They are measuring their engagement constantly. And they delay posting until it's quote-unquote perfect. But they avoid sharing anything that's considered unfinished. Now, I don't know about you, but there's plenty of successful people that have created the most incredible works of art in history that were actually unfinished. Unfinished works of art. And they made it out there, and they were never fully completed, and they're the most historical pieces of artistic work. That's amazing. But we have to be able to live life. I don't think it's important that we always constantly curate our lives. We have to build our identity around that inner strength. Because if we build identity around appearance instead of actual experience, it's going to be a rough road. Because people are chasing the approval metrics, the measurements that have to do with approval, instead of any real-time feedback that they can get from people. So your nervous system starts to learn. It starts to learn with the whole idea of if it's not perfect, don't expose it, don't share it, don't show it with the world. And it becomes your nervous system strategy. And it's all about survival, that you have to survive that. You have to survive other people's criticisms. So this matters because the frog and scorpion story, it's not about blame. It's not about that. It is about recognizing your patterns, because it's not that you have a pattern, it's that you are a pattern. Most people aren't choosing how to respond or react in the real moment. They're just repeating what their nervous system does because it's a safe way to do it. So when it creates these situations and results that they're trying to avoid, it becomes frustrating. So here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to end it right here. Identity doesn't change by deciding to be different. It changes when your nervous system starts to chill out because you got new experiences under pressure. You took some action, you got some experiences, some beliefs surface. Those beliefs provide you with confidence, and then it reinforces your identity. So you're not over managing things, you're not overperforming, you're not trying to perfect something. Okay? It's the good moments where you actually keep the promises to yourself and take action. And guess what? Your whole identity will start changing. It'll change what it expects from life. Because the old patterns, they don't go away overnight. They don't do that. So if you see yourself in these patterns, this is the exact kind of work I do with people to support people through it. This is not mental health advice either. This is coaching, and it's going to be focusing on rebuilding your self-esteem, your confidence, your identity through behavior, repetition, and real-life experiences. What we would do is we would look at your patterns, take a look at where they are, interrupt them real time, and we have to build that new evidence, because it's going to be that evidence from your experience that's going to make you live day to day and move forward. So if you want support with that process, you can reach out through my career web form through Podbean. We could work on your career as well, but what I teach you here is going to actually support you in the career as well. So it's a double whammy at the end of the day. From there, the work is about rebuilding your identity from repetition until it starts to feel like something new. Like new patterns are starting to be normal, and you're no longer the frog. You actually become something else. Have a great day, and catch you on the next episode. Don't forget to click on that link below and to visit my Patreon so you can grow with me on this channel. Take care.